afternoon. Welcome to the third episode of Season 1 of the Dynamic Schools series. I am Adiba, your host, and here we invite school leaders, principals, directors to share the best practices from their leadership, challenges they face, and their contribution to their respective institutions. Today we have the most vibrant principals of Rockwoods International School, Dr. Vasudha Neel Mani, who has been a great role model for several people who have feared getting into teaching. A notable and wise educator with more than 2 decades of experience, her career has stretched over different posts, such as teaching, administration, mentoring, and advisory roles. She has consulted numerous schools in implementing international curriculum and has conducted numerous audits that have come along. Her intelligence is definitely noted through her 3 distinctive acknowledging accolades in planning, assessment, and evaluations. Not only is she a certified career coach, she has also engaged and conducted various workshops in special education, multiple intelligence, and curriculum and assertive discipline. This is seen and adapted by all schools throughout India, and it's obvious where her influences are seen. She definitely fits the quote, "Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality" by Warren Bennis. So tell us, Dr. Vasudha, what has inspired you to become an educator?
I belong to family of educators, and I'm very glad that thank you for this opportunity. So I think teaching was in the blood. I always wanted to be a teacher. The only difference was that I didn't want to go into the regular teaching. Therefore, I started my journey of an educator in 1993, almost 30 years ago, as a special educator. And that was an inspiration by my 2 maternal aunts who used to work with children with special needs, but who were hearing impaired students. But I wanted to understand the psyche of the other special needs students. So yes, so that's what inspired me to be an educator. I always wanted to be a teacher, and then the journey continued because I think I am a live example of lifelong learner, and I just upgraded myself whatever was coming my way. So after almost from 93 till 2003, I was a special educator. I gained a lot of experiences. 2004, since 2004, I came into the Cambridge curriculum. So I worked at Pathways for 6 years. Then I took over the principalship of a Cambridge affiliated school in 2010. And since 2010 till now, I have been heading just Cambridge schools, and I have been a Cambridge accredited trainer, program leader. I've completed my life and leadership coaching course. I'm a part-time faculty of positive psychology also. I've done my double masters in education and psychology. I was given honorary PhD, and still I do something or the other where that keeps me engaged, that keeps me going, and then I can be an inspiration to my teachers that if after doing so many things, if I can study and I can do a lot of things, so they can also follow the footsteps. And I tend to not lead, but being part of the team and work with them very closely.
Okay, so that seems like a very, very long journey that you have been on, and it seems to be a very successful one as well. So, could you tell us more about your journey from a teacher to a school leader or a principal?
So, since I told you I belong to family of academicians, so my father's elder brother, he was a principal of a school. His sons and daughters were principal too. My father was an agricultural engineer. My mother was it was in a government job. And I got married at age of 21, where again I got into the family of academicians again. So my father-in-law, my sister-in-law, everybody was the principal only. So I think the terminology which is known as born leader, I personified that because I had a lot of leadership skills when I was teacher, also when I was just a small special educator. And I remember my principals used to send me for the workshops or giving me small middle management roles that, okay, do this, try to do this and work out. So, and at Pathways, when I was there for good 6 years, so I joined as a special educator, then I was promoted as a middle school coordinator. And since being a special educator, I used to adopt a lot of innovative approaches, innovative pedagogies when we were working with the children. So when I came into international education, I came to know that that was the need of the hour. I mean, teaching the students the way they can learn, and that's what Cambridge and IB were all about at that time. So I was promoted as a middle school coordinator, and then Vidya Sanskar happened, wherein that was the first Cambridge day-come boarding school in the country, and which was from primary years to A levels. So I had gone there to give an interview of a Cambridge coordinator, not as a vice principal, but after meeting me and all that, so the panel, the chairman over there, he offered me the role of vice principal. So yes, it was challenging journey, but within less than a year, I was promoted as a principal of that school, and rest is history then.
That's very inspirational. And I'm sure our audience is motivated by listening to your incredibly encouraging journey. So, I know I've asked you about your journey from a teacher to a principal. Why don't you tell us about you as a principal of Rockwoods International School?
See, I joined Rockwoods International in 4 years ago in
Mhm.
2018, and we are a group of schools. We have three schools. One is our mother school, Central Public School, which was established by my chairperson, Mrs. Alka Sharma, in 1989. Then we have our Rockwoods High School, which was established in 2011 with a CBSE curriculum. And then we have Rockwoods International School, where we have a Cambridge curriculum, and this was established in 2016. So here, my chairperson and the director, Mrs. Alka Sharma and Mr. Deepak Sharma, they actually emphasize a lot on two aspects. That is, one is the feeling of belongingness and attitude of gratitude. So that percolates from the top. So that is the thing that we are trying to imbibe in our teachers also, in our students also. And there is a very synergized working atmosphere. And if you ask what kind of principal I am a kind of principal who will whose agenda would be to create more principals, to create more leaders. So my I give lot of freedom to my team, and after giving the freedom to them, I don't generally, get into the nitty gritties, because I have a larger picture in mind, and I know the work is happening. I know that it is happening the way it should be, because I trust the team with me, and I give them ample of freedom, because that freedom has been given to me by my top management. So that freedom and responsibility, freedom with responsibility, I think that works wonders. So and I'm a very involved principal when it comes to children also. I greet my students from the at the gate at 7:30, 7:45 in the morning. I know what's happening at their homes. I know what's happening at my teachers' places, who is facing little emotional, or what are their challenges. Children are very comfortable with me. Yes, I am little firm where I need to be firm, but otherwise I'm pretty approachable. and a very happy-go-lucky kind of person. But at the same point in time, I have created that boundary, that wherein they know they have to work, and if the deadline they set their own deadlines, but at the same point in time they have to meet those deadlines. So if they have said that okay, they are going to hand in a particular document at 5 o'clock on an expected day, so it cannot be, they know that with me it cannot be 5:05 also. So there is a lot of freedom, but within that freedom there is a lot of structure.
Like something that a lot of principals, you know, they should really aspire to be and aspire to have. So it's very inspiring that, you know, you have like all of these rules and regulations, but you keep all of them very structured so it's accessible to everyone. So you mentioned that you do talk to your students, you greet them every morning. So do you connect often with them?
Oh yes, a lot, always.
So how do you
So if
connect with them?
Oh, so just random rounds. They come to me in my office. I spend time within the classrooms, and most of the time when school is running, so I used to put a table chair in the corridor and sit there till my children were there in the school, and they used to come. They used to chat. I can go in the classes. I can sometimes I put myself as a substitute teacher in the classes so that I can interact with them, teach with them, talk to them. So yes.
Okay. So I also noticed that you have a lot of achievements throughout your entire career, you know. So what inspired you to do so well in education, in the field of education?
I don't think I have still achieved that milestone. Where would I want to see myself? But having said that, I just follow my father's one teaching. He always used to say that whatever you are doing, give your 100% efforts, and then rest whatever it is the byproduct. So I whatever task take in hand, I think I give 100% to that. And when me as a person or as a professional, if I'm procrastinating somewhere, I know that, and then I just tend to get back to the thing, because I know that okay, for me, if someone says that I didn't have time, that's just a mere excuse. So we can take out time for things we want to do and we love to do. So yes, so that is, I think, one of the reasons that I have been acknowledged or appreciated for the work, because I do everything with my heart, and it's like I'm very passionate about whatever I'm doing.
So what makes Rockwoods International School so unique?
Um, it is indeed unique, because here we have a lot of synergy. We have the students are brought up with that attitude of gratitude, sense of belongingness, but at the same point in time, they have the best of both worlds, wherein they are rooted to their culture, but at the same point in time, whatever best innovative uh, pedagogical practices are available, we give it to them. So we have the Promethean boards. We have our students get an opportunity to do a lot of internships. So there are certain innovative approaches that I brought into the system, and that has and of course with the discussion and with the free hand from my management. So I had introduced 3 or 4 of pedagogical innovations, and it worked pretty well. So one is the concept of global studies that we had started, wherein it is a thematic based cross curricular curriculum, wherein children are introduced to one personality every month. So they not only learn about that personality, they go and learn about their struggles, their challenges. So then there is a art and design, there is the history when they are doing the timeline, there is a geography when they're understanding the culture and what is from which country the particular personality belongs to. Then they are celebrating the international days with them. Then there are elocutions, debates. They have a poster making. They have the digital poster making. So it is a complete curriculum, and it is also linked to the sustainable development goals. And for that, I was in 2020-21, when the pandemic was at peak, so I was awarded this award, which I shared it with Sonam Wangchuk also. The other curriculum which I introduced was called the gratitude curriculum. And on that, I had I had authored a book called, this is the book called Gratitude, the Purpose of Life. So this I had written during pandemic. And during the pandemic time, I used to send every day recorded messages to all my students through broadcast. And I used to check on them, and these are 21 days exercise of gratitude that they do. And then we are very, very clear, and we want to do a lot of things for our students from senior school, from grade 9 to 12. So I started a program called Rockwoods College Bridge program, Rockwoods Uni Bridge program rather. So wherein I invite different universities on the campus. They create an internship program for them. They create a learning experience for them. And our next step is that now our students will be ready during the vacation time, and then they will be going and having the experience of an office or different curriculums. So these are the few things that Rockwoods International does, and we are very proud of it. And that has made us the #1 school in Rajasthan.
Oh, wow. It's pretty impressive, actually. Okay. So I know, your school sounds, very unique. Like maybe one day I would like to go and visit it myself.
Most welcome, please.
So I understand that because it is under Cambridge, right? So how do you feel the Cambridge qualifications help equip students with the learning skills that they would need in university?
See, Cambridge is itself, it prepares the students for universities, but it depends on the school how you are implementing this particular curriculum. And they come and they share their experiences. So that is a very, very important milestone, that we have achieved. And that is the one of the initiatives we have taken, wherein we prepare our students for the future. And it is not just my school being a Cambridge school. Our both the other schools, we are very, very passionate, and we are very, very focused on giving students that exposure, that when they are going out of the campus, so they are prepared well to face the challenges of the life.
Course, of course. So, there was, because, there was such a huge pandemic and everyone had to go online for a couple of months, even maybe like a year or so. Now that they're all back in school, all of your students, do you think they need special training to succeed in the new era?
See, we used to talk about the VUCA world, that, children, we are raising the children in VUCA world, and, they were very volatile, they were very uncertain, and, whatever was happening. But I have a different point of view, since I was the first school in the city to start the online classes before the before any order had come from the government or DOE also. So I think we 15th of March lockdown was announced, and 18th of March we had started our online classes. My first online class was 18th of March. And throughout the pandemic of 1.5, 2 years, whatever, whenever the classes were there, I was in touch with my parents, I was in touch with my students. I used to send recorded message. I was online, I was meeting them, I was checking on their emotional well-being, I was checking. And there were many students who lost their parents, there were many losses in the family also, so we had kept that in mind. There was a lot of losses in the family of teachers also, so we had to keep that also in mind. So actually, when we had invested that time in them, wherein emotionally they were taken care of, the time where they needed that the most. So what happened was, and then it was a transition when they came from, after almost 1.5 years or so, when they were coming to the school, and on and off it was happening that, okay, now school has started, now again it is lockdown. There was a hybrid mode also. But having said that, since we were very connected with our students, though after they came back from the school, yes, we had to start from the scratch as if they had not been to school at all. But this was a challenge with us as professionals, with my teachers also, because when we were doing certain things for so many years, it was on our tips that, okay, this has to happen, that has to take place. But after break of 2 years, we really had to rattle our brains and think that, okay, what we used to do in this situation, what were the SOPs, how we were, what we had decided, what were the KRAs. So we started doing it. But yes, it took little time, but yes, now we are again back on track.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you guys found your way back from that uncertain time. So I wanted to ask a question about university related stuff. So what methods do you use to help students choose their school subjects so that it aligns with their future career choices and help them in university placements?
Yeah, so see, my work is very easy because I run a IGCSE and A level, a Cambridge school. So they go through a psychometric assessment, and when they are going through a psychometric assessment with the parents, we choose their subjects at the IGCSE level. So when they're choosing their subjects at IGCSE level, and the same subjects go ahead, and when they are in A level, so from 7 or 8 subjects, those subjects they come down to 4 or 5. So we choose it very carefully. And then there is then now the time is not that we are just producing a race of either engineers, doctors, or so there have been, if they are taking sciences, so there have been different career related to sciences. There are different career related to this. There is liberal arts. Now in India also, they have started with the double graduation program, double undergrad program, which was very common in US. And then we do a complete hand holding, wherein the students picks up the university where they want to do.
Okay. So how do you ensure that they are university ready?
uh, um, with the, as I told you, that there are skills, of course, there. So there are we prepare them for with the skills of I call them timeless C's, which were those 21st century skills. So if so we in the classroom itself, from the day one, they are taught how to collaborate, how to communicate, the creative thinking, critical thinking, and above all, having a growth mindset. So this is the latest that has been added to the 21st century skills, fixed versus growth mindset. So when the students have a growth mindset, and then they are able to, they know that, changes will take place, and they have to learn, and they have to upgrade themselves all the time. And that is being taught to them in the schools, because whatever they learn in the school stays with them. So with these approaches, I think our work becomes easy, and they are university ready.
That's amazing. So we were focused on a lot of academics for a minute. So why don't we talk a little bit about extracurricular activities? So how do you ensure that students in your school have a balance in academics and extracurricular activities?
So we have every day we have a PD period. We call a personality development period. So the students pick up any sports. Theater is part of every day. Art and design is the part of curriculum. Their music, their dance. So everything we give it to them. And all our three schools, Central Public School, Rockwoods High, and Rockwoods International, we have produced the national and international players in all fields. You talk about cricket, you talk about skating, you talk about basketball, you talk about soccer, you name the sports, and we have it. And we have an international skater in Cambridge who is in grade 7 right now, and she's a recipient of President's Award of India. And what we have done for her, we are so flexible, we are so open. I mean, my chairperson and Mr. Sharma, they are so open that they not only allow the students to follow their sports, but we make adjustments in their schedule also, that if they want to come little late because they have to practice, or they are participating in national, in international. So as a school, I think we are doing a lot. And this school, the CPS school, which is the brainchild of our chairperson, Mrs. Alka Sharma, we have all the sports, and they run after school sports, and there are a lot of academics, but they have not even, that's their philanthropy. They never charge from the students, they never charge from the these academics, academies, who are, and children are trained well in all the sports.
That's amazing, actually, to have someone, that's so, what can I say? So good at skating to be a part of your school. I bet that brings a lot of great representation as well.
Yeah.
So in terms of language, right? So do students use their mother language in your school?
No, they use English. English is the medium of instruction, and yes, Hindi as their second language. So yes, so it's a combination of English and Hindi.
So how many language do you offer in your school?
So we have three: English, Hindi. Of course, English is the main language. Hindi and French, because Udaipur is a city where French and Hindi are the most sought after.
Oh wow! Well, how do you keep your teachers of your institution motivated and updated?
So as I told you that we have a there is a lot of synergy in the team. So we have a very kind of a bonhomie between the teachers and us. So we take care of their socio-emotional needs also. And we try to keep them happy, because we try to give them a happy place to work with. So and we are regularly training them, upgrading them. We have a lot of orientation programs for them, where either our chairperson talks to them, I talk to them, we call the people from outside, and we conduct meditation sessions for them. We conduct I talk to them on one-on-one, on personally, if they are facing any issues. So yes, so they themselves witness, and they exhibit the feeling of belongingness, and there is a lot of transparency, there is a lot of communication between us. So that makes us going.
Oh, so I remember you mentioning about how you have a program for parents as well, and parents are very important to the school. So how do you involve the parents in improving the well-being of the school and the students?
So we are in touch with the parents on day-to-day basis. So they can usually come and share whatever issues they have. And if we feel that whatever they are suggesting, we can get it done and we can implement it. So we do that, and there is a lot of transparency. Any parent, I have shared my number with the parents, so they can get in touch with me, and so they can get in touch with me, and then they can share their grievances, they can share their feedback. And so if it is actually, if I feel that that feedback will improve the system, so we of course we encourage that. But yes, there are parents who just want to just interfere in whatever we are doing, so we deal them with them in a different manner.
Of course. Yeah, okay. So, as the last question, because again, I know you mentioned that you don't feel like you have achieved a lot, but I think to a lot of people, you've achieved quite a lot in terms of, being in the education field. So, as the last question, what message would you give to girls aspiring to be an educator?
See, education or being a teacher is a profession that creates all the profession. So one should be in this field only if you are passionate about children, only if you are passionate about teaching and learning. Gone are the days wherein a teacher did B.Ed 30 years ago, and it continued. So we have to update ourselves as teachers also, because we are going to raise this Gen Z kids, and they know more than us. So and I think they don't need teachers. They need facilitators, they need mentors, they need guides, and they need a traveling companion in the journey of education. So if somebody wants to be a teacher, so they should try to have they should try to be ready to follow this path, because it is very, very challenging. Because there is I mean, the salaries are less, the remuneration is not that great. Now the timings are also it's 7:30 to 7. I mean, I come at 7:30, and I have not left the campus before 5 o'clock. And teachers also, they go by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, but they have to prepare for next day. So only if you are passionate about what you are doing, so I think then only they should take this profession.
Okay, so that concludes all of our questions. And once again, I would like to thank you, Dr. Vasudha Neel Mani, for your valuable time and those exceptional tips and words of wisdom.
Pleasure was mine. Pleasure was mine.
I'm
Thank
sure
you.
this will help other institutions as well in the overall development of children for a better tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.